Isaiah 60 verse 1 says, "Arise, shine, for thy light is come, and the glory of the Lord is risen upon thee." Welcome back to the Spew Notes. I'm glad you're here today, and today we are gonna dive into relationship stuff. So stay tuned and listen to more. Hi guys, I am so excited you're here. Well, yeah, today we're gonna be diving into relationship stuff like I said, and I'm gonna share with you 7 things to watch out for in a relationship for you to seek help, and sometimes you may have to leave. And I am not here to advocate for divorce because God hates it. I hate it too. It's the most painful thing anybody can ever go through. I have gone through it and it wasn't a pretty thing. Even if I was in an abusive relationship, trust me, like leaving that relationship was so hard, you know, especially if you're a Christian. And I'm not taking away for anybody who's not a Christian, but you know, there's so much stigma, especially in the church, especially in society, about, you know, getting divorced as a Christian. You know, I literally had some people at some point in my marriage to my ex literally tell me, "You're not praying enough." But I am just here to share with you, you know, sometimes you might see these things and you don't know what to do. I am just gonna flat out share with you what to look for, where to go, and just how to speak up. I think sometimes when we're in relationships and they're not working, we tend not to speak up, and that is a pure sign. That is just a mistake. Don't ever do that. So without further ado guys, let's dive into this. So number 1, what I wrote here was, when your partner isolates you from what you know, like when they isolate you from your family, when they isolate you from what you know, and they want to make you feel like they want to have you to themselves. There's nothing wrong with anybody wanting to have you to themselves, but they have to let you be free, be who you are, you know. When you love something, you set it free, right? So when somebody is like, you know, putting barriers on you and telling you who to talk to, when to talk to them, "Oh, what are you doing? I don't want you associating with that one." Just control. That is a pure sign that that relationship is unhealthy. And you either have to talk about it with that person. Most of the time such people are not easy to talk to, or talk to somebody else and see how you can get some help with that. Or sometimes, I'm sorry, you just have to leave, especially if it's such too much control like that. Always leads to isolation, always leads to now abusive behaviors, and then you feel like you can't say anything about it. So watch out for that and do the appropriate thing. Be empowered. Don't feel like you have to be silent. Number 2, when you crave codependency. If you're a young lady, girl, and you feel you in a relationship and you feel like, you know, you have to be with this person all the time. I cannot live without you. I can't breathe without them. When they're not around you, you're constantly calling them. Now, don't get me wrong. Most of the times I do that sometimes with my husband, and that's called love, okay, you know, but not constantly like my life depends on his existence. No, that's unhealthy. You have to be your own person, and that is something that I really worked hard on when I was getting into this relationship now, you know, from my ex, because I had lost myself so much. I didn't even recognize who I was when I finally stepped out of that relationship and just looked in from the outside and went like, wow, what was I doing? What was I thinking? But I had lost myself so much. So any relationship you're trying to get into or you are in, find yourself. Be yourself. You know, don't try to be something that you're not. That's unhealthy. And don't try to live like you can't live without that person. The only person or thing you can't live with is God. God is the only one we can't live without, like literally. So yeah, be you, find yourself, be that promotes self-esteem. So that's important. Number 3, if you give excuses for them, like let's say he beats you up and then or he's mean to you in front of your friends, or he's just doing things just ruining you and making you feel bad as a person, but you give excuses for them. No, well, he bought me flowers, and my excuse always was, he would like put his hands on me, and then I would be all black and blue. I wouldn't get out of the house for a while, and then I would just literally sit there and convince myself, he's nice. Well, he makes water for me when I come from work, and sometimes he buys flowers for me, he cooks for me, he massages me. Yeah, that's still it's not healthy if he's doing that to you, devaluing you, and then doing all these things to try and make up for it. And in most instances, they make you feel like it's your fault, and yet you are the victim. So that's unhealthy. If you're giving too many excuses for this person, it's very unhealthy. So seek help with that. Number 4, when he's physically and emotionally abusive. And the thing of it is, these people, like my ex, he starts with threats. I told you not to talk to somebody. I told you have to be home at this time. I told you this. I told you that. And in the beginning, he would pretend like, oh yeah, it's okay. Oh, you're going to the store? That's fine. And later in the relationship, it became a thing. You're going to the store. Well, why are you dressed like that? Well, why are you looking like, it was emotionally draining, and then it became physical. And I do not know, I can explain it to you why. I thought it was my fault. That's what I thought. I thought I was making him be mean to me, and yet that's not the case at all. So people who are abusive to you, get away from them. That's a relationship you just don't want to stay in. I stayed in it for years, and I know the feeling, and I know what it does to you. And if you have children, it really does affect them. It affects them a lot. I don't care how young they are, and you think they won't remember, it affects them a lot. It's not healthy, sister. It's not. Sister or brother, whoever you are in a relationship that's making you feel less of a person, and that person is putting their hands on you, or even just emotionally draining you, making you feel devalued, that's not healthy. It really isn't healthy. Some people really enjoy seeing you suffer, so that they feel superior about themselves, because they know you depend on them, and they want to be the master, and you're like over there at their feet, asking for their mercy all the time. Because but the abused people are the ones who apologize more in abusive relationships. I know, because I did it. I was always apologizing, oh, I'll never do this, I'll never do that. And he would come back and say, I love you. I don't know why you make me do such things. I really love you. No, sister, that ain't love. If he's abusive, that's a relationship you really need to get out of. So if you're in an abusive relationship, emotionally or physically, girl, it's unhealthy. Get out or seek help. Number 5, the blame game. Always blaming you. It's never their fault. It's always because you did this, because you did that. They never take accountability. That's unhealthy. That needs to be talked about. That needs to be dealt with. Because in a relationship, you need to take accountability. You're in a relationship together. So when stuff happens or stuff come up, There is no well, it's your fault, well, you didn't do this. No. When something comes up in a relationship, the healthy way to deal with it is look at the thing. Look at the situation. Okay, how is this affecting our relationship? Because that's your relationship. If you give that relationship to the thing, to the problem that's arising, the problem can take over the relationship, and that's unhealthy. So you don't want that. Don't play the blame game. It's unhealthy and it's not good for a relationship. Number 6, when you can't see the goodness in each other. You know, I always am weary of the little things in a marriage, especially mine, because I've seen it in my friends' marriages, which have ended after years of just, you know, pushing these things aside per se, or trying to ignore these little things. And then one day they just woke up and just despise the person, can't even stand them, and they've lived together forever. That is, it's unhealthy. If you can't see the goodness in your partner, talk about it. It's not time to sit back and let it play out and hope that, you know, maybe we'll turn around and if they start acting right, maybe I'll like them again. Talk about it, because it's unhealthy. You let little things go for years, and they overwhelm you, and they take over your emotions, and they take the space of your spouse, because, you know, all of these things you've done all these years, you just annoy me, you just irritate me. It's not healthy. So see the good in each other, because if you do see the good in each other, and this, you always work on it. Always. And no two people fall out of love at the same time, ever. So there's always that one person who's always in love more than the other person. And so you gotta see the good you got with them anyways. You know, in the beginning, they are your partner. So there's something good about them that you liked. So try and find that good thing in that person. Don't let it go. Hold on to that. Okay, that was number 6. And number 7, guys, to make it come full circle, when they always think you are the issue. Well, the blame game, kind of, it comes around to that. When they always think you're the issue, it's not their problem, you know. You both have to seek to make the relationship work. Okay, always. You both have to seek to make the relationship work. If an issue arises, it's not one-sided. It's for both of you. Okay, it's 100-100. We won't even say 50-50. Your partner is not the issue. The issue has just arisen in that relationship. Look at the issue. Don't make your partner the issue. Because that issue is gonna take their place, and you don't want that. That's just painful. You know, even if we don't like, we think we don't like the person we fell in love with, most of the times it's because we are putting these unrealistic things on them for them to satisfy us. It's very healthy to be in a relationship and look at it projectively, look at it factfully. Don't fantasize a relationship, because if you're in fantasy land, not everything is real. You have to be real. Get down to the nitty-gritty of the relationship. Why did you get with that person? What made it that you fell in love with that person? There is that something, and you have to fight to hold on to that. Now, there's things like abusive relationships that I don't recommend you stay in, because eventually you can lose your life for what? It's not healthy. I have been there. I know one time, I'll tell you guys something. One time, and then I'm gonna end. One time, we were living in, you know, another city that I'm living now, and there was on the news this young lady was murdered in our apartment complex, and it was all over the news. And guess how many phone calls I got? So many, because so many people thought it was me. It's sad, people to know that much about your relationship, that you are in danger and you're still in it. So abusive relationships are not worth it, girl. That you definitely need to leave. Now, the other points, the things you can work on, those are the signs, to see if your relationship is healthy or unhealthy. And I know most of the times I've mentioned most of them, and they mostly apply to most relationships. It's not time to give up. It's not time to let go. It's time to work on your relationship. Yes, a relationship is work. Marriage is work, and when you work together instead of against each other, it's so beautiful. At the end of the day, it's so beautiful when you get along, because that marriage is a ministry and God ordained it. So you don't want to let it go easily. You seek counsel, especially from God. Thank you so much. I am so excited. I'm so glad you joined me today for the 7 things on how to know your relationship is unhealthy. Some of them I encourage you to stay. Don't give up in your marriage, because I'm an advocate for that. Marriage is so important. I don't like the D word, the divorce word, but there's some instances like abuse that you definitely have to get out, because that's unhealthy. And I am an advocate for that, because I have been in that situation. So guys, I thank you so much again, and I will see you next time. Join me every Monday and Friday. I post on my vlogs, and I always post discussions or topics that are near to my heart every Monday. And then Fridays I'll try to post like a song, just to give praise to Jehovah. All right, thank you guys. I love you, and God bless.